Kamala Harris found out the hard way that if you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Kamala capped off the worst week in her political career by bashing Gold Star families. Earlier this week, she had that terrible CNN interview. Then a new round of polling came out showing that there was no post-convention bounce for her. Then she lost the debate over debate rules, which she started, and now she's trashing the surviving families, the Gold Star families of the 13 servicemen and servicewomen who died under her watch in Afghanistan. Total train wreck. What a horrible week for her. It's so bad that those Gold Star families are now releasing taped statements, video statements on social media to trash Kamala Harris. Now, to understand just how bad this is for her and just how bad this is for the campaign, we have to go back to the beginning for context. Keep in mind that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris both claimed that the Afghanistan withdrawal was, quote, an extraordinary success.
No nation has ever done anything like it in all of history. Only the United States had the capacity and the will and ability to do it, and we did it today. The extraordinary success of this mission.
There you have it, extraordinary success, and Kamala thought it was such a success that she's been campaigning, she's been bragging that she was the last person in the room when this decision was made.
President Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision, Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
So she feels comfortable, she brags, she is campaigning that she was the last person in the room. She's using that as part of her foreign policy experience to prove that she is qualified to be commander-in-chief. But the Afghanistan withdrawal was so bad on multiple reasons. Of course, there's this gut-wrenching moment of our Afghan allies, the people we promised would be safe, trying to cling on to planes as we were evacuating Afghanistan. But it wasn't just them. Apparently, we left behind 9,000 Americans, 9,000 American citizens. This is on the Senate website. Secretary of State Antony Blinken originally claimed that we only left behind 100 to 150 American citizens. They later corrected themselves and said it was closer to 3,000. But as more and more investigations went on, it turns out that we left behind 9,000 Americans. And it was up to the private sector. I know Glenn Beck, for example, was using his nonprofit organization to fly people out of Afghanistan. And many independent contractors were doing that. I recently, maybe 2 months ago, covered a CNN lawsuit where someone with a company was flying out professionals from Bloomberg, from Audible, who were also on the ground in Afghanistan. But it wasn't just that. Apparently, we left behind $7 billion of military equipment. And our military, they told us that it wasn't a big deal because the Taliban apparently was too uneducated to use it. Well, on the third anniversary of the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal, the Taliban held this parade. How many of you guys have seen this? This was a parade held by the Taliban. This isn't now it's their equipment, but they didn't create this equipment. This is the equipment that our military left behind in Afghanistan. Again, $7 billion worth of equipment that they're now using. I mean, that is just dangerous in the wrong hands. So, again, all of that to prove that the Afghanistan withdrawal was a failure. And then the worst part is that, again, 13 servicemen and women died there. They didn't have to die. They died because the withdrawal was half-baked. It was a terrible plan. They evacuated the airport first. That should be the last thing you leave. So Donald Trump was invited by the Gold Star families to Arlington Cemetery. And Kamala Harris has now tried to politicize this, but I would like to argue that this is a manufactured controversy, just like the manufactured hoaxes against Donald Trump. So in Kamala's statement, you can pause this if you want to read the whole thing, but I want to point out these two red boxes that I've highlighted. And yet, as was reported this week, Donald Trump's team chose to film a video there, resulting in an altercation, false, no evidence of this, with cemetery staff. Apparently what this altercation is that a large man apparently walked by a female staffer. She was trying to block him and he walked by. Apparently he didn't push her, he didn't shove her, there was no punching or fist fighting. He just made his way past her. That was the physical altercation that everyone's writing home about. Let me be clear, the former president disrespected sacred ground all for the sake of a political stunt. It was not a political stunt, as I'm about to show you, and in fact, she's the one who is insinuating that these Gold Star families are being used as political props, when this whole thing was their idea. So this statement of Kamala Harris trying to insult Donald Trump and trying to take him down is actually a political attack. It is a political boomerang. She threw this attack out, and now it is coming back to kick her in the butt. And the bottom, I will always honor the service and sacrifice of all of America's fallen heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of our beloved nation and our cherished freedoms. I mourn them and salute them, and I will never politicize them. Yeah, you'll never politicize them, which is why you released the statement. By the way, neither Joe Biden nor Kamala Harris have reached out to the Gold Star families. They've never mentioned those killed in Afghanistan by name. They've never honored them, and that's why the Gold Star families are now making videos and speaking out to defend Donald Trump, not to endorse him, but to defend him. I have these queued up for you, so you can take a look at what they're saying. First is Christy Shamblin. She's the mother-in-law of Sergeant Nicole G. And here's what she had to say.
Vice President Harris, my name is Christy Shamblin. My daughter-in-law, Sergeant Nicole Leanne G., was killed in the Afghanistan exit at Abbey Gate on August 26, 2021. This year, for the 3rd year anniversary of her murder, we welcome President Donald J. Trump to Arlington to lay a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier with our family and to visit Nicole graveside. President Trump and his team were respectful. They listened to our stories and didn't talk much at all. We welcomed them that day, and they were comfort to our family. Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call and explain to us how you call my daughter-in-law's death a success? Vice President Harris, why will you not express your condolences yourself? Why have we never heard from you? And finally, why would you take a day where we celebrated the death of our loved one and use it to disparage not only them, but us? President Trump has called, President Trump shows up, and President Trump takes the time to hear our loved ones' stories. Why won't you do the same?
Again, there you have it. They invited President Trump. He listens to them. He showed up for them. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have never reached out. These are servicemen and servicewomen who died under their watch, who died under their quote-unquote leadership. Just really sad. Next was Coral Doolittle, and she's Gold Star mother of Corporal Humberto A. Sanchez, and this is what she had to say.
My name is Coral Doolittle. I am Corporal Humberto Sanchez's mother. This is my statement of what happened on August 26, 2024. My son is not buried in Arlington, but I really feel like when President Trump went and paid tribute and paid his respect in Arlington for our kids, it was not just the ones buried in there. It was for all of our kids, and it was an invitation that the families actually extend to him, and it's not the first time that he actually meet with us and share time and with our families. After 3 years until now, Kamala Harris and President Biden didn't even say their 13 names. They called the withdrawal in Afghanistan a success, and for us it was just sadness and a disgrace. They are the responsible persons of murdering our kids. And until these days, they did not give us a meeting. They did not accept to meet with us and give us an explanation of what happened. Being him the commander-in-chief, he definitely left our kids behind and just to fill the agenda of his prior commitments. I invite Kamala Harris and Joe Biden to accept the meeting with us and meet with us and explain us what was the whole deal behind the withdrawal in Afghanistan. I think that as a parents, we deserve a explanation, and we deserve the truth of what happened with our kids that day.
And what you notice from Gold Star family after Gold Star family is that they all reached out to the Biden-Harris campaign. They all invited them, and they still haven't heard anything. So it was bad enough that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden never reached out. It was bad enough that they've never acknowledged the 13 who died under their watch and their leadership. But even after the families reached out, extended that olive branch, it's been completely ignored. And yet the media, the Democrats, are all trying to spin this against Donald Trump. I would argue that Trump wasn't spinning this for political gain or political purpose, but rather was just trying to honor and tribute them when the current administration is completely ignoring them. Next is Steve Nakui, who you'll remember earlier this year actually interrupted Joe Biden during Joe Biden's State of the Union address. There was a heckler. It turned out it was Steve Nakui, who was the father of one of those killed in Afghanistan, and he was urging Joe Biden at the State of the Union to say his son's name, to say their names. Here's what that looked like.
All Americans deserve the freedom to be safe, and America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then, through my American Rescue Plan, which every American voted.
So Steve Nakui ended up being arrested. I believe he was freed on bail that same evening by a sitting congressman, which is great. But Steve Nakui also recorded a powerful statement. Here's what he had to say.
Vice President Harris, my name is Steve Nakui. I'm the father of Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nakui. And your administration killed my son. Deliberately in exchange for political theatrics so you could have a final day of the evacuation coincide with September 11th. Ignoring the advice of your generals, the Doha Agreement, and countless other veterans and members of Congress. Denying the safety of the Afghans and the servicemen and women. Your choice to play politics in 2021 killed 170 Afghans, 13 U.S. service members, and wounded 45 of our service members, as well as countless Afghans. You were not at Dover for the dignified transfer. At no time have you reached out to me to offer your condolences, to offer thank you for Kareem's sacrifice and service. Not once have you honored him by saying his name, so I said it for you. You have disparaged all 13 who have lost their lives as well as their families, exhibiting your lack of gratitude by your silence. I agree with you on one thing, that a person like you should never and will never stand behind the seal of presidency. You are a DEI vice president, and contrary to our kids, the worst that America has to offer. I will pray for you, that God has mercy on your soul.
Again, this political attack just completely boomeranged on Kamala Harris. Play stupid games, play stupid prizes. She tried to politicize this against Donald Trump, and now these families are speaking out against Kamala. Next is Mark Schmitz. I thought his was one of the most powerful. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they're all powerful, but this one really specifically stuck with me. He's the Gold Star father of Lance Corporal Jared M. Schmitz.
This is Mark Schmitz, Gold Star father of Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz. Here we are on a beautiful holiday weekend day. I got to stop what I'm doing, spending time with what's left of my family, to address a heinous, vile, and disgusting post put out by Kamala Harris, trying to incite those that don't follow the truth that President Trump was in Arlington as a political stunt. Shows you how much you know about the 13 families. We invited him to be there. Groundwork was put into place by Congressman Iss's office to make sure we followed protocol. Why did we want Trump there? It wasn't to help his political campaign. We wanted a leader. That explains why you and Joe didn't get a call. Imagine for a second that your kid is killed, and there's a president of the United States willing to take you under his wing and listen to you. That's what we found in President Trump. Certainly not you, and certainly not Joe Biden. You have 13 families who have been waiting over 3 years to so much as get a phone call, to so much as hear our kids' names said aloud in the halls of Congress, at a State of the Union, hell, anything. The irony behind your post that you give a rat's ass about our military or our veterans, Jared's brothers and sisters in arms, the rest of the 12, their brothers and sisters in arms, is an outright lie. We're living proof of that. You're despicable. You have zero business running this country. And I pray to God, Americans wake the hell up and get your ass out of office. You have spit in our face for the last time.
It's just really powerful and really sad. You can feel the raw emotion there. That is something you can't fake. You can tell there's still pain there. And how can you ever get over that? And just what a slap in the face to not even be acknowledged by the current administration. I ended up doing some research. So the rules at Arlington, as provided by Axios, filming or photography will not be permitted if it conveys an impression that the cemetery officials or any visitor or family member is endorsing any product, service, or organization. Well, again, Trump didn't go for a campaign stunt. He went at the request, as they've all said. They invited him to go. He just so happened to use the footage to honor them, but I wouldn't say that that was a political stunt. In the box, additionally, ANC, Arlington National Cemetery, will not authorize any filming for partisan, political, or fundraising purposes. Trump isn't fundraising off of this. Again, like, if you want to be jaded and call it political, sure, maybe, but I think even that is a stretch when, again, it's the families who invited Trump, and he simply used the footage to honor them, not to promote himself. At the very bottom here, it's not considered not clear what's considered an election-related activity. They told Trump's team that he could come in with his personal capacity, bringing aides, but not campaign staff, and that was true. He came with aides. But here is the issue that I have. Why is it then that if you Google Obama Section 60, which is where this took place in Arlington, the U.S. Department of Defense, they have a picture on their .gov website of Barack Obama and Michelle Obama in Section 60. I thought that wasn't allowed. You see stock footage, stock images of Barack and Michelle in Section 60 of Arlington. And these are both video clips and still photography that you can purchase and get a license for. If you can get a license for it, is that not commercial? Is that not hypocritical? So aren't we having double standards here of what's allowed? But of course, all of this is just my analysis, just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think that this Arlington cemetery controversy, do you think it really is damaging towards Donald Trump? Do you think he disrespected our military and those who have died in service? Or do you think that this attack against Trump is actually a boomerang? Do you think it actually hurts Kamala Harris and exposes not only the administration's weakness and failures in Afghanistan, but their continued just cruelty and callousness to completely ignore the 13 Gold Star families? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. For those who left kind, thoughtful comments on my last video, I truly appreciate all of you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.